welcome to Crochet Corner. I am Ray. I'm C, the C and C is for Chrome here on Crochet Corner on C is for Chrome. Okay, today's the day we start that crochet summer project. I'm excited about it, and the just a recap of the squares quickly here, as everything falls all over. I'm absolutely excited. I have started in the Crone Cottage. I cannot wait to get through all the trials and tribulations of renos to actually get in there and start having things more organized. So the first square we'll be doing is this standard granny square. And so it's really not that hard. You just need your yarn, you need your hook, a pair of scissors, and then you just make this sucker as big as you want. But for the project, it's a 6x6. There's 6 squares. I showed it all off in the preview, in the previous crochet video. Or I've just done another one. But in the preview for the the Summer Crochet Sampler Afghan. So it's 6 different squares. I'm doing 10 inches. I'm using a J hook, a 6mm hook, to do this. The colors I'm using are cream. I'm using Red Heart Comfort because there again, I bought these big jumbo balls, and so now I'm just in the process of using up. So we have a cream. It's all number 4. I have oatmeal heather, which is what this one is made out of. It's oatmeal heather with the cream border. This one's interesting because you can't see it on camera, but it's, well, maybe you can. You can see the blue. The little bit of blue in there, and it's got a little bit of a washed out red. The other color I'm using, because I had so much of this yarn and I just want to use it up, is, where did I put it? Oh, right here. Is light gray heather, and it's gray, nice soft gray. This is looking sort of a steel gray to like a blue gray, and it's not. It's actual nice light gray. And the reason why I chose this as the first square of the sampler is because this was the very first thing that my mom taught me how to crochet, was granny squares. I remember seeing made out of the tiny little fine sock yarn. My grandmother was, before she passed away, was in the process of making a Afghan. She was making panels, little crochet squares all sewn together into panels, and then put the panels together. And unfortunately, when my mom passed away, that was lost. So kind of commemorating those women that were important in my life, with the first ever square that I did. So we'll get right to it. I've got my J hook here. This one I actually got on Wish. It was inexpensive. So to crochet is very simple. It makes up some very fancy stuff, but oftentimes it's not as hard as the fancy makes it look. So we're just going to start with a loop-de-loop here, a little slip stitch, and get it on the thing there, and then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to, in this first stitch down by the tail here, we are going to slip in there, do a slip stitch to form a ring, and then chain one right there. So I have not done a tutorial for crochet, but I will try and go slow. Please stop the video if you need to. If you want to make this but you can't follow me, feel free to watch other people. I'm not going to get mad if you do, type thing. You learn where you can and how you can. So I'm using this light heather color for the base. You do not have to use these colors, this yarn. There's no reason why. I'm just looking for a spot to put this that the cats can't get into. You couldn't use whatever yarn, your favorite yarn that you wanted, wool, cotton, whatever, to do this project in whatever size with whatever needle. It doesn't need to be 10-inch squares. It doesn't need to be 36 squares all together. That was just a base that I'm starting with. That was the size I wanted. This is going in the Crone Cottage as one of the first projects that I'm doing as C is for Crone here on Crochet Corner. And to have in there, because that's going to be my space. So anyways, chain 6, that was loop in, loop in, loop in, loop in, and then slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're going to, I'm going to see if I can shift so we can kind of see sideways here. We've chained 1, or I wonder if it's just easier to do this way. And a double crochet, because that's what I first learned, is wrap around, down through your loop, and back up through, so that you've got 3 on the hook. And then you pull up through the first 2 loops, so you have 2 loops on the hook, and then you pull through those loops. And there you go, you have your first double crochet. And what you want to do is 3 of these. So 3 on there, wrap around, pull through, and pull through. So that I have 2. And as you're going along, if you can remember to hold it up, if you can, sometimes I'm fumble fingers and I can't get it quite right. Wrap around and up through and through, and chain 1, chain 2. It just gives you more, we're building the corners that makes everything square. And then you do 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2. And see what the chains do is they make this corner. So you're looking at the back of my work. This is the front here. I'm just going to see if I can angle this down a little bit so I'm not like holding up here. Okay, and then what you want in here is 12 double crochets with 8 chains, or what I'm going to say 4 chain spaces, because that's just easier. And 1, 2, there we go. So chain 2, so this is the last set of 3. 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, and then you find the top, not this chain 1 space right there, but over into the top of your double crochet, and you slip stitch and chain one. Well, here while I show you, you don't have to chain one, but there you go, there's the middle, the start of it. So I'm going to undo that chain one, because the next place you want to do is you want to slip stitch straight across those starting three. For me, this was really the easier way to do it, and then into slip stitch into this chain space right here, so that you can, in there, and that's where you're going to start. And then you're going to chain one and do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 chains, and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and that gives you the first corner of the second round. So yes, we're on the second round, and I'm going to pause this so I can see if I can get my camera angled down more. Okay, so where I left you while I was trying to figure stuff out was right here, where we're doing that first corner on the the double crochet in the second row. And so you'll want to chain one, and then you'll want to repeat in this corner here, in this other corner here, the same thing. So it's 3 double crochet, remember chain 2 in there, so it's 3, chain 2, and 3 more. 1, 2, whoop, that didn't work. So 1, 2, there we go. 1, and then 2, and 3. And then chain 1, come through there. Oh, I didn't finish that one, so yes, chain 1, and then into the next corner. We'll be doing exactly the same thing. 2 and 3. So now bear with me, this is the first time I've got the camera stand to do the tutorials. It's so much easier just making videos. Anyways, so you've chained 2, and then three more in that same chain 2 space from the first row there. First round, 2, 3, and so it should look like this at this point, where you're starting to actually form squared up corners there. And we chain 1, and then 1, 2, and 3. Whoops, I wrapped that around too much. So this is the third one, and chain 2, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1 with a slip stitch into this top of your double crochet, not your chain 1 space, but I guess that's okay, because what you would do, because we're just going to slip stitch again straight across and into that corner right here, into the chain 2 corner, your starting one, and then we're going to do a chain 1. And if you've been able to follow around, now you have 2 rounds of a granny square. And any of these sizes, you could make granny squares out of here. I just haven't been successful at making anything that I actually liked with that. And as you can see, I went to Vistaprint and got myself a t-shirt with the C is for Crone on, and I'm really happy about that. So I will figure out this by the time we get to the next square, how to do filming so this is better. So better to make mistakes on a goofy angles here than do it with fancy stuff. So anyways, it's a repeat. It's again, so it's 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 chain with a 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And then a chain 1 and 3. Then we go over to where we skip all these ones here and go into this chain space right here, into this chain space, and that's where you put that double crochet, and you put 3 of those in that chain space. There we go. So it will look something like that on the 3rd row. And then you chain 1 and back into the corner chain space. And you do 3 double crochets and chain 2, and then 3 double crochet in there, and then chain 1. And so what you'll end up with as you're going along is it should look something like this. And there's nothing wrong with frogging if it's not going the way that you absolutely want it to go. So we've chained 1 at the last of that 3, and then we go to this next chain 1 space over here, and we put in 3 more double crochets. And chain 1. And then you go into the next corner space. Two, 3, and chain 2. So it's 3 and chain 2, and then 3 more. And the purpose of this sampler is to just practice your double crochets, your single crochets, and your slip stitches. I think there's a half double crochet in there. So now we're at that corner, and you can see on the back of my work, on the front of the work, 3 sides done like this. A little bit of and then a chain 1. So that's slipping in and then wrap around and pull back through, and then a double crochet is wrap around, sink into go into the chain 1 space of the previous row, up, there we go, wrap around and pull through, and you do 3 more in here. and then we chain 1, and then we do to the corner here, in the corner chain 2 space, do our 3 double crochets and our chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, and then a chain 1. So now we're looking, it looks like this. There we go. And we've chained 1, so then we do 1, 2, 3, and chain 1, and then we go find the top of the double crochet in this starting corner, and we go, and then we slip stitch all the way across to there into that chain 2 space, starting space, and there we go. Now we have 3 rounds. There is in this square, and the way I like to count is you've got your middle here, is to turn it on a diagonal and then count down, and that's a very easy way to count your rows. With a granny square like this, it's very simple too, but I find that it's just, for me, it's easier. So this square is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of granny square before you get to the single crochet. So we have done already 3. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to finish up the other 2 rounds and then show you how to do that single crochet outside edge. Hello, okay, we're back again here, and you should have on the 5th row, it should be about on that 5th row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the 5th row, and I'm on almost finished this 3rd side, and you were working in, basically this is just working 3 double crochets in the chain spaces there. So we've chained 1 from here, and then we make a double crochet, and then we chain 1 into the corner, and you don't have to be perfect with it, and chain 2. I have Afghan squares on my first ever blanket that I made. I made a monster of a jobby. I end up with there before, and then the chain 2 space, and chain 2, and then 3, or I'd get the whole square done, I'd go round and realize I'd only got 2 in my corner, or there's a 2 in the space. You can leave it if you want. It does work because we're working in the chain spaces around. Now chain 2, pardon me, and then 3 more double crochet, two, 3, and then we chain 1, and then we go into the next chain space, chain 1 space, and we do 3 more double crochets, granny squares are these amazing things that help use up, can be so useful for using up your yarn. Shouldn't worry too much about colors, it being a mishmash of colors. That was the purpose of the granny square. is you'd end up with all these little bit of ends, and so you just would make a granny square Afghan. So we got 3 more double crochet in the single crochet, and we come up onto the corner here, and we whoops, yeah, and we slip stitch, and we go into the corner. Now if you are just wanting to make one great big huge granny square for the 10-inch, and this is a perfect square for Rose's donation for the blankets that she's doing for wings on Rose Likes Crochet, because my hand is 6 inches, and so I have to recount that. Make sure I got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually 6 rounds to make the 10-inch square. Right now, if you wanted to stop to do Rose's square, my hand is roughly 6 inches. You could just stop there and send her the squares. You don't have to put the border on the outside. That would be absolutely perfect. What I've discovered with a number 4 yarn is that each one of these, a double crochet is about an inch long. There. So we need 6. So I'm going to pause the camera here and finish up that last row, and then I'll pick you up at when I'm just about finished here. Okay, so we're back again with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. I'm just finishing up here in this last chain 1 space of the 6th row here, and find the top of the double crochet, slip stitch, and into the corner. Now if you wanted to do this a solid color, or just with whatever yarn that you're using for the border, then you would slip stitch, chain 1, and then put, whoops, not double crochets, because this is just single crochets, and it's 3 single crochets, so down, up, 2, and 3. So what we're doing is we're making a border on there. So I hope you saw that, because I wasn't looking in the camera to see what I was doing. Now if you're doing like me, or you ran out of your ball and you wanted to just pick up the same color, what you do is you go back here, you ignore that slip stitch in there, you make a loop like this. It's not even tied, you don't need a slip stitch, just make a folded over thing like this, slide down in there like you're going to use this yarn, and then wrap around your hook, pull up through and up through. So you're using this, in my case the cream color, to start your slip stitch in there, and then pull both yarns through, but pull up so you can pull your tail through. And I like to pull it to the back there, and I'll pull it tight, so that counts as the slip stitch. And then you'll want to chain 1, and at this point, this is where I find my scissors, wherever it is that I put them. Oh, there goes everything, slidey slidey. There we go, my box beside me. And then, because this is all kind of thing, I pull out my gray to however long I want the tail, and then cut off. It won't it won't move. This is because the slip stitches will hold it. And you can just pull it tight like that if you like. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the 3 chain ones. Not chain ones, probably 3 single crochet. And at this point I am working 2 and 3. So what I've been doing, hopefully you saw that and I didn't lift my hands up, is you're just trying to catch this a little bit in the back of these. You don't have to, but you can. So, and then I tuck it away. I find it's easier sometimes to sew the ends back in and you get a cleaner look, because sometimes when you're doing more than one color you can actually see the color of the yarn sitting on top of those stitches. So in this next stitch, okay, so we're in the chain space, in this next stitch right here, right there, you slide in and make a single crochet, and then in the next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet. And now we're into here. You need to do a single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then right there, single crochet, crochet. And in this corner, if you have to pull stuff back, don't be afraid to pull stuff back. Single crochet, then a single crochet, and crochet, and crochet. There we go. Crochet, and then 1 crochet in the chain 1 space, and then into there, into the double beside it. There we go. And into this chain 1 space, on tops of your double crochets, and then 3 in the corner, 2 and 3, crochet to turn the corner, and then you pull this over so you can find this one right here beside your chain space there, and single crochet. So yeah, we're just single crocheting all the way this border here. Sorry, I'm tired today, so I just all of a sudden got quiet while I was concentrating on what I was doing. I apologize for that. I would love to see everybody's work. So you can post. I have a open group on Facebook called C is for Crone. Mondays is our business day, so if you sell Etsy or Amway or Tupperware or whatever, Arbonne, You can make little videos and promote yourself on there. So yeah, so 3 in this corner, and then we turn. I call them Business Mondays. C is for Crohn's, home-based business days. And into the chain space, catch the one beside the chain space. Chain space, one beside the chain space. There we go. And I am trying to hold it so that you guys can see and not move my hands up and down too much. And around, and then 1, 2, and 3, and into the one beside. There you go. And it is good to catch this one beside the corner there, because it allows your square to relax out, and it helps with the tension of the square. So if you've got really fancy yarn to make this with, and because that's what you love, then I would suggest, if you're new to this, go and get a cheaper yarn to just practice with, so that, you know, you're not busting up your balls of your really good yarn. Like I said, this is a perfect project for using up yarn, as they call a stash buster. And we're almost finished the 4th side here. And this row is all about working in the tops of the double crochets and in the chain 1 space, where the previous rows were all working in the chain 1 space. Okay, so now we're here. And this can be a little bit fussy when you're trying to do something like this when making borders or whatever, because you've got those slip stitches in your double crochets. What you can do to make your life easier is to find this space down below the slip stitches. That's the original space for the top of the double crochet. So in, single, and single, and then up into the first single crochet, not the thing, and then I go to the middle and just do this, and then I do an extra, cut it, pull through. So yeah, what I do is, yeah, always go in. I think I might have clipped the chain space, but anyways, go in, kind of find your middle there, and finish off. And so your square should look something like that, which more or less matches, I do believe, if I've done this right in this tutorial, you can see the difference in the 2 colors. I planned it that way, so we'll put this on top. Yep, we got more or less a matching of a 10-inch square. And this is the one I just did. Whoops, don't measure it corner to corner. Yep, there's roughly 5 inches there. to this middle point right here, roughly 5 inches, and depending on how you work your tension will dictate the size of your squares. So no getting like bent out of shape because the squares aren't exactly the same size, and so you're sitting there going, oh my god, this isn't going to work. It will work. And so the next thing to do, just to finish up this square, is to find my needle, which, see, I can't seem to know, I can't remember where I put it down. So at that point, if you, there it is. But if you do misplace your yarn needle, and Walmart does have those, is you can, some people do this, you get the smaller needle. This one is a 4.5 millimeter, a G hook, that's a G hook, right there, and you just slide in your stitches and pull up through. It is much easier to use a smaller needle to do this, but of course a corresponding, and you can do that. You can come up, I don't know, hopefully you can see that. You can come up through a stitch, because what you want to do is you just want to bury your ends, and then you can come back down through the next stitch like that one. I'll finish that one here in a minute. I just want to show you with the yarn needle here. So you thread your yarn needle, and if you split your ends, just roll to get to here, and then yeah, you can see my hands are shaking. Wonderful world of arthritis. Is you just take it, and I like it, I like to go back through the back of the knot, that slip stitch right there, because it pulls it down, and then you can just it's a little bit easier to just kind of use the needle to weave in your ends, and you can just go through the backs of everything this way, and then up through, over through, and down through, and it doesn't mess up, whoops, it doesn't mess up your thing if you do it that way. And then sometimes I like to work back, so I will slide across, whoops, I'll go into the back loops of the stitch, single crochet stitch, like this, and then up through this. There's a sort of a back loopy thingy here, and it came off, so then we grab this, your smaller crochet hook, pull up, and then you can come back down through here like that. And what I like to do is I just like to get back to here is all, and then up through, and then go up through there, so that, you know, you're pulling around that stitch, and then down, and then down like this, and then back through, and then if it does stop fighting me a little bit there, and then pull through, and then gently just kind of pull your work, because sometimes that will just tighten it up enough, and then because there's just that little teeny weeny bit, snip, and it's tucked in just like that. So yes, there we go, and we have this square, the double crochet granny square, the standard granny square, and I now have 2 of the 6 that I need for the blanket. So yeah, I have 2 of the 6 of those, because you need 6 of each one of the squares. Now, if you have a favorite square, and as you're going along and you check that preview square and you're like, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, or you just want to make the sampler Afghan all granny squares, fine. I don't care. This is your thing for whatever. This is your Afghan for whatever you want to use the Afghan for. I apologize. I have obviously put myself where we're going to have lighting issues, but as we're finishing up here, it's okay. So don't be afraid to pause. Don't be afraid to frog. This is a simple and fun project. It could be a stash buster. I'm stash busting in a big way. Clean it out and making useful things for my crone cottage and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment in the comment section how potentially I can video better, how to potentially get behind me. That will be easier to do in the crone cottage, because I will not have cats who can bump things and stuff like that. But I enjoyed showing you how to do this. I hope you could see, and I look forward to very soon here showing you the next crochet granny square, which is Rose's Springtime Rose Granny Square. This will be the next one that we will be doing to finish up June, and then there's the other ones there's 2 for July and 2 for August, and I will try to kind of get them done fairly quickly, so you have all month to get the 6 of each done, so that in September when we go to finish this up, we will we can get it done for the end of September. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I now have little cards on the end to remind you where I can put the stuff for future videos, or for videos I would like to have you watch, and I hope you hang around. I do apologize for the length of the video. I'm going to be working on that. Some of it's chatting, but there is relevant information. So thank you for joining me, and I will hook with you later.